Tensions remain high following recent US strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, with the international community closely monitoring developments. The CIA director, John Ratcliffe, has publicly supported President Trump's assertion that the strikes caused severe and lasting damage, citing credible intelligence that multiple key Iranian nuclear sites were destroyed and will require years to rebuild. This stance challenges a leaked Pentagon assessment suggesting the attacks only delayed Iran's nuclear ambitions by a few months, an assessment the Trump administration has dismissed as inaccurate and preliminary.
A fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran is holding, offering a degree of stability in the region. Life in Tehran is beginning to resume its normal rhythm, though exhaustion and uncertainty linger among residents. French President Emmanuel Macron has called for the International Atomic Energy Agency to resume its mission in Iran, stressing the importance of international oversight. As the situation evolves, the world waits to see whether this uneasy calm will last. Behind the scenes, the so-called axis of resistance, China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea, are moving pieces on a global chessboard. But what are they really planning? Today, we reveal what world leaders are saying to each other and what could happen next if the US strikes again.
June 23, 2025, Moscow.
Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi steps into the Kremlin. He's welcomed not by aides, but by Vladimir Putin himself. The message is clear and direct. There was no justification for the US strike, Putin says. Araghchi replies, "Our response was legitimate self-defense." Putin offers Russia's help as a mediator and reaffirms strategic support. But what Russia is not offering? Troops. Instead, Russia works in the shadows, supplying drone blueprints, training Iranian operators, and producing Iranian-style Shahed drones on Russian soil. Quietly and strategically, Russia plays both diplomat and arms dealer. Just days earlier, on June 19, 2025, President Xi Jinping picks up the phone. On the other end, Vladimir Putin. The two leaders exchange condemnation of Israel and the US over the escalating conflict with Iran. Xi proposes a four-point peace plan: an immediate ceasefire, protection of civilians, safe evacuation corridors, and diplomatic restraint by major powers. Putin agrees. Both leaders pledge to keep in close contact. China stops short of offering Iran weapons, but Beijing is playing the long game. Nearly 40% of China's oil flows through the Persian Gulf. A regional war threatens their economy and their ambitions. Instead, China moves through back channels, blocks new US-led sanctions at the UN, and sends strong warnings through state media. In Qingdao, China's defense minister meets with Iran's counterpart. China condemns foreign bullying, but again offers no military support. Beijing's message is strategic: protect its economy, avoid direct confrontation, and wait for Western missteps. Kim Jong-un is watching Pyongyang closely. No public statement, no speech, but a strategic move. In mid-June, Russian Security Council Chief Sergei Shoigu visits North Korea. Kim agrees to send 6,000 military engineers to Russian territory. Their mission: help build drones and munition factories. Up to 25,000 North Korean workers are expected in Russia this summer, working side by side with Russian and Iranian engineers. For North Korea, this is payback against the West for decades of sanctions. And while Kim may not send missiles to Iran, he's strengthening Russia's capacity to keep the US distracted elsewhere. Meanwhile, Pyongyang releases a statement calling the US strike a grave violation of sovereignty and urges international unity against Western aggression. June 22, Operation Midnight Hammer. US B-2 bombers drop bunker buster bombs on Iranian nuclear sites. June 23rd, Iran fires back. 14 missiles at US forces in Qatar. 13 are intercepted. 1 hit. Supreme Leader Khamenei calls it a slap to America's face. He declares Iran has achieved total victory and warns that if the US strikes again, they will pay a heavy price. Iran's parliament votes to suspend cooperation with the IAEA and discusses closing the Strait of Hormuz, choking a key global oil artery. Global oil markets react, but for now, the strait remains open. At the same time, new revelations emerge. Israeli intelligence agency Mossad, in coordination with US assets, reportedly carried out a covert strike inside Iran days before the bombing, using sabotage drones to destroy mobile missile systems. This adds another layer to the preemptive logic of the strike. Iran is cornered, its economy is strangled. Its enemies, Israel and the Gulf monarchies, are watching. So Iran activates its network. Hezbollah mobilizes, militias in Iraq prepare, and allies abroad, Russia, China, North Korea, don't send troops, but they do send something else: legitimacy. Russia offers to mediate. China amplifies Iran's case to the global south, and North Korea boosts Russia's drone supply line, indirectly empowering Iran's deterrence. Meanwhile, Putin escalates further. In a televised announcement, he confirms mass production of Russia's new Oreshnik hypersonic missile, designed to reach Western Europe and even US coastal targets. It's a message. Russia is watching, and it's arming. Some call them CRINC: China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. It's not a formal alliance. There's no treaty, no shared military command. But there is a shared mission: resist US dominance, undermine Western influence. Each country has its own reasons. China wants control of its trade routes. Russia wants to rebuild its empire. Iran wants regime survival. North Korea wants nuclear respect. But together, they exchange more than ideology: technology, engineers, cyber tools, intelligence. A new US task force now tracks this coalition daily. The world is watching. If the US strikes again, expect more than just missiles. Iran will respond through its proxies across Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and the Red Sea. Russia will intensify drone exports and launch cyber attacks on US infrastructure. North Korea may test ICBMs to divide US attention. China will press diplomatically and may flex its muscles in the South China Sea or the Taiwan Strait. This is not a traditional war. It's silent, digital, economic, global. 4 nations, different histories, one message: America. Don't underestimate what happens when the cornered connect.